Hello and welcome. This is another episode of Chatting with Humans, and I am your host and fellow human, Darrel-Lynne. Today I am chatting with Jodi Dancause. And let me tell you, this woman is quite the light. She has walked through some fires. She has disrupted many patterns in her life and in her lineage. And she essentially took the reins and said, I'm writing my own destiny. To say she is an inspiration would be an understatement. And she has a lot to share and a lot of wisdom to impart just through what she has lived through. She's also just a really beautiful human, and she knows how to meet humans and people where they are. And she gets to do that through her business that she owns and I honestly don't know if florists are called florists anymore, but that's what she does. She is a flower artist. And I'm sure there's an even better term and name for it, but that's what her small business is. And she serves her community through her business of providing floral arrangements, but she's serving her community in such a larger way because they get to walk into her shop, and when they are going through whatever life moment calls for a flower arrangement, she's serving them so much more than that. She's serving them a lifeline and a connection. It's really beautiful to see her light up and talk about it the way that she does. And on top of all of that, Jody is also going to very soon be a published author in not just one, not just two, but three separate publications. Her and I are co-authoring in a publication called Reclaiming Mental Health, which is coming out very soon on March 24th. By the time you're listening to this, that'll be a couple weeks out. She has a solo publication, an incredible feat. Congratulations, Jody. That solo publication is on the docket. It sounds like to be released in May. And she'll also be co-authoring in another publication called Women Who Rose from Ashes Volume 2, which will probably be out, within the next 6 to 8 months because they're just actively recruiting for that publication. But Jody is signed up and she's ready to pen her story in yet another way, all in which will be of great service to anyone picking up her book and her story because she has a lot of wisdom there to share that will absolutely be life-changing for anyone who reads it, and especially those that need it. Thank you Jody, I know you'll be listening to this, but thank you so much to Jody for coming on and having this conversation. And I really look forward to speaking with her again on the podcast because she's got a whole lot more to share and she's absolutely a delight to chat with. So I hope you enjoy this one. Welcome. Jody, I've been looking forward to chatting with you. I have been admiring you from afar a little bit, not even realizing how close we are. Like you're in Alberta, I'm in Alberta. We're obviously co-authoring in this incredible book that's coming out on March 24th, Reclaiming Mental Health. I know snippets of your story. I know you own a flower shop and you're a mom and that you just have this incredible, beautiful light to you, but that you also have walked through some incredibly difficult things in your life as well. So I'm not going to be able to paraphrase that. So if you can just share a bit about yourself so I can get to know you and maybe our listeners can get an idea of
Who am I?
who are you?
Absolutely.
Let's hear it.
Yeah, so you nailed it. I'm a co-owner actually of a flower shop in Morinville, so just a little bit north of you, I think. The flower shop, it's kind of I'm not going to go into all the full details, but it's kind of a full circle cool story. Like I worked at this flower shop when I was in high school from grade 9 to grade 12. It was my first job, kind of my safe space, escape, if you want to say. Just they became my family at that shop, and I always said one day that shop's gonna be my shop. So anyways, 3 years ago I bought it. But yeah, and then on more of a personal note, I am a mom and a stepmom. I have 5 kiddos between us. So I have 3 biological kids, 2 step kids between the ages of 16 and 20. There's a lot all in the same age group. It's pretty fun.
Okay, so we had a bit of a technical glitch. Yay, Wi-Fi, but we're back. But Jody, we were just chatting a little bit about where you're up to at the flower shop. My envy for being a florist, because that's such a rad, in my opinion, it's a rad job. You must love it if you've been doing it for this long.
Yeah, it's actually pretty amazing. Like I obviously love floral design and making the flowers and stuff, but honestly,
Yes.
I always tell people it surprises me some of the connections and the conversations I have inside the shop. Like I do everything from
Mm,
funerals to weddings to whatever. So you see people at all these different stages of their lives or different milestones, I suppose, of their lives. And like,
yeah.
it's actually like surprisingly wildly emotional. Like I've
Yeah,
cried
I
with
bet.
people, I have laughed with people, and I'm like a super emotional person. So my mom is
Yeah.
my business partner, and her and I are a little bit opposite that way. So she's like, Jody's up at the front crying with the customers and she's getting things done in the back. Like we really balance each other well. But yeah, it's surprised me like from like even like baby loss, like, like pregnancy loss and like exciting milestones. And I don't know, it's crazy. That's the part of the business that has surprised me the most that I didn't really experience in my younger years doing this. So now that I'm
Right.
coming at it from, a different lens and I'm not just making the things, I'm actually dealing with the customers and doing all that too. It's like, it's surprising. It's a
Ooh, I love
wonderful
this.
thing, but it's
Yes.
surprising.
Yeah, because you're meeting everyone just like in these like moments, and
Yeah.
they're pivotal moments.
And they're trusting you with like, you think it's just flowers. It's just like a minor
Yeah.
detail. But when it's like the casket spray going on your mom's casket or it's your wedding bouquet or it's your like any of those like milestones, they're trusting you to
Mm,
create something for like that special moment in their life. So it's
yeah.
become more than just like making a pretty arrangement to me. It's like,
Mm.
I don't know. It's just like captured this whole different side of it that I don't know. I love it. I'm super
There's like,
passionate about it, probably like annoyingly passionate about it,
yeah,
but I love it.
you're obviously doing the right thing if you're like if you're emotionally passionate about it.
Yeah, like sometimes I think of these like conversations I have and I'll be telling my husband at the dinner table and I'm like crying talking about this like
Oh my
encounter
God.
I had at the front counter and he's like,
Yes.
"Wow, okay."
Yeah, that's incredible. I love that. And people are remembering those moments
Mhm.
through the flowers that and the creations that you're making
I
for them.
hope
Like
so. I hope that's what I'm
it's
trying to
more than just
create that.
it's more than just a transactional service. That's what it sounds like.
100%. Yeah,
I
100%.
love that.
And when I bought the shop and when I came at it from this end of it, I didn't expect that. I just thought, okay, yep, I have to charge this much to make this much. I have to do this, like thinking very business minded. And
Yeah.
now I'm like, the joke in the store actually is like, if you just cry to Jody, she's not even going to charge you for her flowers. Cause I'm like, I can't charge you. It's so bad. I probably
Oh,
shouldn't
they
advertise
gotcha.
that, but yeah, I know. I'm like, just cry to me and I'll just hug you and I'll just send you on your way. Like, I don't know.
I love
It's
it.
been a surprising turn of business. Like it was not what I expected at all.
Yeah.
And
It's so much more than flowers.
totally, it just felt like, hey, I'm going to buy this. It's going to be a financial transaction and it's going to be, I'm going to have to make this much to whatever. And my mind
Yeah.
actually doesn't really work that way anyways. Like I'm a very
Right.
creative, emotional person. So trying to wrap my head around that was like, I don't know. That's not where my
Yes.
brain works. So now I've like found this little area
Mm,
where like I feel like I can just like thrive inside of because this is my jam. I love to connect with people. I love
yeah.
the stories that I hear, the things that they share, and then it goes both ways. Then they listen to me and we just like, I don't know, it's
It's
pretty
kind of like
awesome.
reminding me or like reminiscent of like a hairdresser sitting in the hairdresser's chair and
Totally. Yeah.
all the stories come out,
It's
right?
true.
Like,
It's true. Yeah. Like, I mean, your
but
hairdresser knows everything about you. I think I'm the florist that knows
right.
everything about my customers.
Yeah. Yeah. I imagine there's a lot of people that look forward to coming to see you when they need their flowers and whatnot.
And I
Yeah.
just hope, they don't expect it's going to be a fast visit sometimes because we're like,
Right.
you get real deep sometimes. Sometimes I'm like, okay.
You know what? I love that because, I mean, there was this like really tangible shift in customer service in for sure, the last decade, last couple decades. I felt it, I saw it, but there is something so refreshing about going into a place and you meet a person eye to eye, you have a conversation, they see you, you feel seen, you're seeing them like
Yeah.
that. It's missing.
It
It's so
is
needed.
missing, and I've seen that in hiring people and in this
Mm,
new generation of kids, of teenagers. Like, it's no fault of theirs. I have some amazing stuff. It's to no fault of theirs, but
yeah.
it's a different generation. The connection's different, the conversation's different.
Yeah.
I mean, we can blame a plethora of things for that, but they're good workers. They get the job done, but there's certain aspects that are not the same.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, if I model this for them, can I create that in them? I don't know. I'm hoping
That's what
I
it comes down to. You
hope
are
so.
setting an example through that necessary connection. Okay, so random question. Is there a favorite flower that you like working with the most?
Well, there's a favorite flower that I have, but I don't love working with it.
Okay,
Like
what
my
is it?
very favorite flower in the whole world is ranunculus. And lots of florists are like, I can't even think of a favorite flower. Hands down, it's my favorite. I have it tattooed on my
Really?
arm.
I don't even know what it
Oh, they're
is.
so beautiful. They have a million petals. It's almost like a little baby peony, but they're
Okay.
so delicate and
Hmm.
they're not very easy to use. So, and they just have this
Okay.
natural curve. So usually I just use them in a very natural way, just plop them in a vase. But for like a
Yeah.
refined design, they're not easy, but they're my favorite. So it's like this catch 22.
Yes. I mean, I'll have to look it up because I've honestly never heard of a
Oh,
ranunculus
oh,
before.
they're beautiful.
They
You'll
sound
fall in love. Yeah,
redonkulous.
that's what my sister-in-law always says. She's like, "What are those redonkulous things you always talk about?" I'm like, "No, they're my favorite."
I love that. And you have it tattooed.
I do. Yeah, I've got lots of
That's
flowers
so cool.
tattooed on me though. It's just like I
Okay.
told my husband I'm just decorating my body with flowers. I don't know.
That's very apropos.
Right?
So, okay, I feel like we could talk about flowers and all this for quite a while, but I want to talk about our book.
Yes, yes.
I want to talk about your story a bit more and talk about what because I know you've shared that you were working on your manuscript far long before Reclaiming Mental Health, the publication came into your realm,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. It's actually crazy
Okay.
how it all came out because I've always known I was going to write something. I was going to do this. I was going to write a whole book. I was whatever that was going to look like. I didn't really know. But then the application for Reclaiming Mental Health was shared with me, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't feel like I can do this yet. Like I really like imposter syndrome was
Mm,
very prevalent. So, but with a little gentle nudge from a dear friend, actually another co-author for she
okay.
wrote in Sovereign too. So with like a
Yeah.
gentle nudge from her, I was like, okay, I'm going to put in an application. I knew immediately what story I was going to share. I had already really wrote most of the story. So
Yeah.
my application was probably very wordy and very long. So I'm like, this is what
Mhm.
I have to say. And I get pretty passionate about things. So it was pretty quickly after I applied that I had an acceptance. So I'm like, okay, I'm doing this. And then
Yes.
before we even really started, I was pretty close to done my chapter. It needed some polishing. It needed some guidance. I've never formally wrote before. I've
Yeah.
done a lot of writing, but nothing formal. So it was pretty done. And with like some minor polishing and minor edits, like it was just like, okay, it's ready for the
Well,
book now. It felt kind of crazy. I even said to our lead author, I felt like I almost robbed myself of the experience because it was done. It was pretty much
right.
done. And she's like, don't
Yes.
feel that way that this is amazing. But I felt like I almost had to change something or add something because I was just like, I would sit on
I'm
our
just so
calls and
ready.
I was like, I don't actually have anything to change. So
Yeah.
it was a really crazy feeling, but very little of it actually from the very first finished chapter to my final edits, very little actually changed. Like
Mm,
it was pretty done
really?
from the first before we even started.
That's
So it's kind of
incredible.
cool.
Yeah.
I knew it was very clear. I knew what I was going to
What
write
you
about.
wanted to say. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, now that you're saying that, I because this is like a 6-month process or about a month out from the actual launch. We haven't actually had our hands in the writing process for a couple of months now
hmm
because it's been with design, it's been with editing. But I remember like those very early calls. I'm like, Jody's like you're a keener girl. Like she's like knocked it out already. I'm sitting over here stressing, like, how am I gonna put this together? But I love that because it really shows your story was ready to be told.
hmm
You just had to kind of step over that threshold, let's say, or like that barrier that was telling you not now or not this or whatever that was,
What
but
will
it was
people
ready.
think? Like, yeah, all of
Yeah.
those things played through my head, and it was like I
Yeah.
knew it was the right thing, and I knew I was ready to share it. But
Mm.
yeah, it was like I just needed that little push.
I'm looking forward to reading it because I know it sounds like it's very potent. It's
hmm
obviously very personal. Do you want to share a little bit about what you put in your chapter?
Yeah, absolutely. I've shared, even over the years, little snippets like on my social media and stuff. I've always been pretty open about mental health journey, but not so much mine. I was more like what I witnessed in other people or like little tidbits of mine. So this actual story is about my experience with suicide and actually like a failed attempt. But I went really into the details of it and what it felt like and like things that actually people didn't know and don't know about me. So as I was writing this and getting ready to put this out there, I actually had to share this with my family because I'm like, you guys are going to read this. It's going to be shocking. But then my story is kind of two-part because it was that. And then it was just a couple years later, my dad actually did commit suicide. So it was this weird, like, connection of like, we fought the same demons. We fought the same battle. We had the same struggles. We stood on the edge of the same metaphorical cliff, but he didn't win. He didn't beat his. Like it took him. So, and I've shared a lot about his suicide. I was 22 when he died. And so, you know, that's 20 years ago now almost. So, but I've shared a lot about it, but never in this much of a honest, raw way. It was like, yeah, I lost a parent to suicide. I talk a lot about that. But this was like tying it to my experience and actually sharing my experience, which, like I said, nobody really even knew. Nobody knew. So it felt very vulnerable, and I'm usually okay with being vulnerable, but this was like next level and felt like it needed to come with a couple disclaimers for people very close to me.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah, like it was just, it felt like a necessary, like next step, like sharing it more honestly, more real, more like relatable to so many people that don't talk about these things because it's still, there's this stigma, there's this taboo around it that we just don't talk about it.
Shame.
And shame, so much shame. And I carried that shame too. I'm like, oh, this is embarrassing. Like I'll talk about my dad, but I won't talk about me because Jody's got it all together and Jody's the happy one. Jody's the, you know, and it's not that I'm not those things, but it took a lot of life and a lot of struggles. And that was obviously the darkest, deepest, my cat just jumped up here, darkest, deepest time that I was ever in. Doug's coming. You know, that was the lowest of the low. So I didn't talk about that ever. I've talked about, I have mental health issues. I have forever. I take medication. I'm not ashamed of it. You know, all of those things. But this was just like raw and deep. And I feel like a lot of people, I'm excited to get this into their hands because more people need to know that. Like they need to talk about it and not be ashamed of it because that's the only way maybe you're going to stop any of it. I mean, you know, or make any sort of a difference is by just talking, being loud.
Normalizing the fact that we're all confronting, I mean, many people are confronting some aspect of what we call a mental health challenge.
That's right. Exactly.
Normalizing the fact that it's normal.
Yeah. And like not everyone's experience might be a near-death suicidal experience, but it could be, I can't get out of bed. I can't go to work. I can't parent my children. I can't, you know, whatever that looks like. There's so many different experiences. And I'm actually excited to even read the rest of the stories in this book because I know all of us have such a different experience and that's going to land differently with so many people. And that's just going to be so powerful.
I agree. This book got me like when I knew Sarah Storino, our lead, had proposed this concept, I was like, oh my gosh, yes, because we're gonna have this thread running through it of mental health, clearly reclaiming mental health, but our stories are all going to be so vastly different and there's going to be something in there. I trust in that because I know we all have come to the table and shared even just snippets with it. But we don't know. We don't know what's actually going to be in this book yet either.
I know. And I think the most beautiful part is like the reclamation side of it. You can go through it, but you can come out the other side of it. And that's like, to me, the most hope that you can give people. If regular people, like the 15 of us writing in this book, we're just regular people living our regular lives. We can experience these difficult, hard things, but we can come out of it. Doesn't mean you're not going to fall back into the darkness once in a while because it happens.
Life ain't perfect.
Totally. But once you see the other side of it and that it's possible, and then maybe learn some tools and tips and modalities to explore to help you get there, then yeah, like, I think there's just so much power in that. Like, we're not just sharing the mental health challenge, we're also sharing the reclamation after it, which
Yeah.
that's I can't
We're
wait to read
sharing
this whole thing.
Yeah, you make such a good point, and we're sharing the hope.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly right.
I feel that so deeply. When you had just to talk briefly about your suicide
Absolutely.
attempt, did your dad know that that was something that had happened?
No,
He didn't.
he did not. No, he did not
Uh,
know. Nobody in my family knew.
Nobody
I was
knew.
living on my own at that time,
Okay.
and yeah,
Hmm.
I just
Excuse me.
wasn't supposed to wake up and I did. And so then it was
Wow.
like I didn't talk about it. It was like, well, I can't even get that right. So it
Mm.
was like real hard on the head. I had to just carry on. Like it was like I was actually supposed to be at work that day. And my phone's got all these missed calls and stuff and it's like where's Jody? Well, I mean, at that point, I was so deep in the darkness that I was the queen of excuses. I'm like, I'm just not feeling good. I slept in. And they believed me because they believed me every time. And I'm like, I'll be
Right.
in tomorrow. I didn't go in the next day, but a couple days later, I just had to like pick up and carry on. So it was kind of a crazy thing to even like think back on. Like,
That
I was only
is.
19, so I was
Okay.
young and I was
Okay.
like living on my own in college, 3 hours from home.
Yeah.
So I was able to really keep it secret and keep it to myself. But I mean, we all know how that works too. Like then it just picked at me for years and years and
Yes.
years. And
Yeah.
then a couple years later when my dad actually committed suicide, it was like, wow, I didn't know his struggles. He didn't know my struggles. I mean, we could maybe
Mm.
see things in each other that were like things weren't perfect. I mean, my parents were split from a very young age. So I only saw my dad every other
Yeah.
weekend kind of thing. So like we were close, but we didn't really know each other. So the
Hmm.
fact that we were both in the same
You got to
situation,
the same
yeah,
place, different,
yeah,
obviously, but the same.
the
You
same,
arrived at this same outcome at one day and
right?
said, I
Can't do this. Yeah.
can't do
Yeah.
this.
And the world actually will just be better without me in it was where my head was. So I can only imagine, you never know for sure, but I can only imagine that's where probably his head landed
Yeah.
also. So the
Yeah.
fact that, yeah, like we both ended up in the same, I never really reflected too strongly on that over the years. Like it was like, well, crap, I lost my dad. Like, like it was, I'm going to grieve that. I'm going to talk about that because, it's important, but I never
Yeah.
really connected the two together until
Mm.
this. So that was like a hugely powerful thing where it's like, wow, is this a genetic thing? Is this a hereditary thing? Is this like, I don't know. I don't know the answers to that, but
But asking the questions,
and then
like,
I have
yeah,
children. Oh, and my children are
right.
that age now. My son is almost 21. My daughter is almost 20. They're that age that I was. So I look at them and
Right.
they're out living on their own now too. So that also carries this like
Mm.
familiarity of like, I know how hard those years were. I never want to project that onto them, but I just watch and I just like, just be aware of the things and just hold the space for them if they need it because I like I said, I don't
Mm.
want to ever project my hard times onto them, but I'm just so familiar with the hard times that come from being alone. And I mean, I had
Yeah.
a lifetime of childhood trauma that probably led me to that point. And I've tried my entire motherhood journey so far to avoid that for my children. So I'm hoping
Yeah.
I can set them up for better success, but you can't help but watch them and be like, I just
Oh,
hope you don't feel those things.
of course. And it's hard to kind of get to that layer with people,
Hmm.
right? I
Yeah.
mean, even I mean, not even like the people that are closest to us.
Yeah. You
I
don't
think
know.
there's those truths. Yeah, we just don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard to get to that place with people because, yeah, of course we want to hide it.
Yeah, for
You know,
sure. We're
you
taught
know,
to hide it. We're taught to bury it down and be
yeah.
strong and be, you got to be tough.
You're supposed to be happy. Your
Right?
life looks so easy and good
It's
and,
perfect from the outside. Like you've just got
right.
it all together. And how many times I
You're
would
so
hear that?
privileged.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
you've got, what do you have to be depressed about? I'm like, oh Lord, if
Yeah.
only I knew.
It's not that simple.
It's not
It's
that
not.
simple. And sometimes there's not anything obvious from the outside. Lots of times there's not anything obvious from the outside. So you're
Yeah.
just like witnessing this thing that you don't even understand or experiencing this thing that you don't even understand.
Yeah.
But then everyone around you really doesn't understand because they're like, You've got everything going on for you. What
Yeah.
possibly could be the problem?"
So
But
like, oh my gosh, I do have like so many questions. But
just not
so before your attempt, when you got to this super dark place at 19 by yourself, obviously you just kind of briefly mentioned there you had a challenging upbringing. There was trauma,
yeah.
things that happened in your childhood,
Yeah.
challenging circumstances. Had you received like a formal diagnosis
Mhm.
or and yeah, you did. What were
Yes, like, so I think I was, like, I was in high school where I finally was like, "Okay, like, I can't." Maybe grade 11, I just was feeling, like, just not great, and my doctor, I was diagnosed with clinical depression and generalized anxiety, so, "Here's some
okay.
pills, and you'll be better." That was really
Yeah,
the only guidance I got, so, took the pills. They probably maybe helped a bit. Was I great at taking them? No, I was 16 years
right.
old and not perfect and a little bit embarrassed about it and whatever. So,
Sure.
but yeah, like there was a diagnosis and like that diagnosis ran deep in my family. Like
Okay. Yeah.
every woman, especially that I knew, was
Mm-hmm.
on an antidepressant or
Interesting.
yeah. And my dad was not ever formally diagnosed, but in conversation with his mom, like my grandma and stuff, they were pretty certain he was bipolar, just never properly diagnosed.
Okay.
So I feel like there even could be more things, but
Yeah.
there wasn't any tools that I was aware of or things that people talked about. Like now I deal with these things so much better, but that took
Right.
years. Like when I was
Yeah.
young, it was like, I don't know what else to do. So
Yeah. So
yeah.
there was this hereditary aspect
hmm
for sure.
hmm
And then just life,
Yeah. And then
not
just
just
life.
life, but life, like the challenges that were coming at that. So yeah, it's just interesting
Like
because
yeah. And
there's, yeah,
I didn't have the words for it then or even like the awareness of it then. But
yeah,
now I can look back and see like, I mean, yeah, like I said, I was raised in kind of chaos. My parents were
right.
babies. They were 16 and 18 when they had me.
Oh, wow.
And then had my sister and then they separated. So like always my
Okay.
parents were separated. But then like inside of my home was like abuse, physical, emotional, verbal, so you're just made to believe all these things about yourself and just not it's not that there wasn't love, there was love, but there was a
Mm,
lot of me taking care of my sisters and mom
mm,
had to work so much. She worked 2 to 3 jobs so she could support us. And she had a partner,
okay.
but they weren't
But she was
financially
also
she was
she
on
was
her
also growing up.
she was
Like,
surviving and she was
let's be
growing up.
real. When we're in our
Exactly.
20s, like, we don't know shit. I
Oh my
mean,
gosh, right? Like imagine having 2 babies at 18
no.
years old
Nope.
and she had 3 by 21. So like she was just figuring herself out. Did I have the empathy for that back then? No, probably
Right.
not.
No,
I do
you don't
now.
know. You
Yeah,
now
but
have a perspective then
not
to,
at
like,
all. You're just living
appreciate,
in
like,
it and you're like, I'm
yeah,
just alone and I'm just struggling and I don't know what else to do. So you just go through the motions of the days, kind of living in, a little bit of fear, a little bit of resentment, a lot of resentment sometimes,
yeah,
and just trying to protect my little sisters. And
yeah,
so now I can see that all of those things played
yeah.
part in everything that went on in my head. I mean, my gosh, I had attachment issues. I had like just
Yeah.
trust issues, major trust issues, especially with men. And,
Mhm.
I didn't recognize those things. So I found myself in
That
these
whole
like
time, though, you were conditioning your nervous system.
totally. And I was a kid. So, like, how would I
Yes.
know? So
Yeah.
then, as I get older, find myself in like unhealthy relationships, unsafe spaces, things that I am not proud to talk about. But if I don't talk about them, then how do you actually heal
Mm,
from them? Right. So
mm,
yeah, it was kind of a wild ride and an interesting thing to reflect back on now and understand it. And I've just got
yeah.
this whole new empathy for my parents, both of them. They were
I
just
was gonna
doing the
say
best.
you said you work with your mom now.
Yeah, yeah, we are business
Like,
partners now.
what?
Like, it's crazy. We've
Uh,
come, like, so far, and we've never not been close. I love my mom. She's great. We've never
yeah.
not been close, but there has been, yeah, like, challenges inside of our relationship
You
because
were able to acknowledge the reality of what it has been.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
And then where we are now is 1,000,000% different than where we were. And we've both grown up. We were both kids growing up. Like my mom's only 16 years older than me. I have friends with that same
Yeah.
age span. So
That's
it's
wild.
interesting. We're just like almost peers. If that makes
Yeah.
sense. Like
You
I'm
become
raising my
friends.
kids
Yeah.
and yeah, like it's kind of crazy. It's kind of
Yeah.
it's this weird thing, like maybe I should carry more resentment, but I don't. Like I actually am just like, you survived that too. We both
Mm.
had to survive that, and we
Yeah.
did, and both of us are in a way better place
And
now.
now we're here.
Now we're here,
Yeah.
and we're here together doing this thing that we both love, and we're so passionate about it. And it's kind of cool. It's kind of this cool,
It's very cool.
we've created this different kind of closeness than we've ever had. It's had to
Yeah.
come with some boundaries that have been hard to set, though, because there are certain things where I'm like, we're not going there,
Right.
and certain expectations that, maybe she had of me when I was younger that maybe she still has. Like, I just do. I've always been the peacekeeper. I've always been
Mm.
the agreeable one. I've always been the, like, these are the titles I've got as a younger adult, because
Yeah.
that's who I was. I was never going to rock the boat. Well, as I've got older, I've been better at setting these boundaries in place and realizing how necessary
Mm.
they are. Sometimes that comes with a little bit of pushback, but
Yeah.
she also respects that this is where we're both at now. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
That's
And she's like
I
my
love this.
biggest cheerleader. Like she's
Oh,
watching me do all these things and she's like, I'm so proud of you. And almost like she wishes she could have or could do also. Cause I mean,
yeah.
she's had a life. She has had a life.
Yes. Right. I'm
So
sure she has her own story to be
100%. I'm like,
written.
tell it, Mom. Tell your story.
Yes. I love that. My first guest that I recorded with was my mom
Cool.
for this podcast. And there's something really beautiful and powerful about being able to watch kind of that healing that we are able to implement
Yes.
through generations, because we're bringing, like, you're clearly bringing an awareness
Hmm.
and a perspective, yourself and your soul, into this lineage,
Yes.
because you're meant to heal it backwards
But it's
too. And
interesting because I'm like healing it backwards, or that's like my goal. My biggest goal in life is to like, let's stop this and give my kids a better chance. But
yeah.
also it's like healing it the other way too, because my mom and,
Mm.
even my grandma, like we have a young family, everybody was a young mom. So everyone's still around. So it's interesting. Like they're watching
Oh
me do
wow.
these things and they're like, oh my gosh, yeah, you're right. Like that was how it was, and crap, I wish we could change it, but we can't. I'm watching my mom
Oh
healing,
my
and
gosh.
it's crazy. So it's like spreading both ways. And like I'm not trying to like toot my horn and I'm healing everyone around me. That's not what I mean. But I can just see this ripple effect in all those directions, and I'm like, this is the whole point. This is the whole point of
Yes.
this. So
Oh my God. It makes me emotional. It
yeah.
does, because I feel like this is like so much of the point of why we're here, is
Yes.
that, like you say, just like, if we are infusing our true authentic self through the healing that we've done, there is going to be a ripple that happens. And it's not because we're forcing it, it's because our authenticity is showing other people that they can heal through their authenticity and through their story and their
Mm-hmm.
truth. And
Yeah.
it's not something to be ashamed of or to hide. It's to say, yeah, and like, you have to have a reckoning with yourself,
You do. Yeah.
but it's also to say, I'm still here. I lived through it and I'm far better today in how I show up, who I
Yeah.
am, right?
And like to go with that, the things that we lived through, they could very easily carve a different life out for us. We could
Mm,
stay on that
Cindy.
same path
Be the
and
victim?
yeah, exactly. And I think I was for years. And,
Sure.
I see it in lots of people. And it's
Mhm.
really hard to shift that mindset. But when you do, it's like, I mean, and I'm 42 years old. It's taken me this many years to kind of figure this out. But I still got a lot
Sure.
of years ahead of me. So I'm okay with this. But it was like,
Yeah.
I wasn't destined for success. I wasn't destined to do these things. I was destined to follow the same path
Mm,
everyone else in my family before me did. Because it was, if you look back generations, everything was repeated. There was divorce, there was teenage pregnancy, there was all these things.
yeah.
I did all those things.
Right.
It was my first marriage failed. There was so much shame around that because I'm like, I'm just like the rest of them now. And
Mm,
I found myself pregnant at 18. I had a miscarriage, but pregnant at 18. I never talked about that with anybody because it was like,
wow.
oh my gosh, I'm just like the rest of them, which feels kind of yucky to say out loud, but I wanted so badly not to be. And then I was doing all
Wow.
of those same things. And
The pattern. The
the pattern.
pattern.
So then it was like I had this realization, like only in the last few years of my life, where I'm like, I cannot keep this pattern going. Like I am now raising humans, not even small humans anymore. They're big humans now. But like
Yeah.
I am raising these children inside of this chaos that I'm continuing, and
Mm,
I can't do that for them. They deserve better
yeah.
than that. And then I gained two more stepkids, 15 years ago. So all our kids were really little when we were together. And it was
Mhm.
like then where it was like, mm-mm, this is not the way we're doing this. These kids deserve better. And yeah, we're a second marriage. We've both been divorced. Both all the things I said I would never do, never wanted for myself. I was there, but I was like, it's okay. I can now take
Yeah.
this and go forward in a more positive way and in a better way for all these kids that are watching me.
Wow. I love this so much, Jody.
I feel like
So
I'm
like
like going on and on. I'm very passionate about it,
this is why we're here.
right?
We want to I want to hear this because there's so like you said there is that hope element. I
Mhm,
think there's someone that could listen to this and hear this. I mean, it's learning for me because I mean, anyhow, the point is this is your story and there's something really beautiful about it, incredibly beautiful about it, and that there is I love the hope element more than anything
mhm.
because it's just we don't have to stay just because we find ourselves in this on this trajectory that
Yes.
feels damning and hard and like in, incredibly sad in moments and just completely challenging, it doesn't have to determine our future.
That's
We don't have to stay there.
yeah.
It's a choice. It's an awakening that we have to allow ourselves to have in our own lives to say I have the power
Yeah.
to 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 change the trajectory of this. And I
Yeah.
think it makes it even more potent obviously when you have children
Yeah.
and you are I don't wanna say fixing, but, like, you're essentially disrupting the pattern for
That's right.
them. So
Disrupting.
I
I
was
love that word.
curious.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was, like, curious, like, what is your relationship with your kids, especially now with this book coming out? You said you had to kind of maybe have some pre-disclosure
Yeah.
conversations.
Yeah.
Was that conversation with your kids
It
as
was.
well?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I even let them read it. I shared the whole
okay.
chapter with them.
Yeah.
And my youngest did not read it. And she's like, "Is it okay if I don't?" I'm like, "Absolutely.
Mhm,
I have no expectation." But I just so for her, like I just kind of would summarize like this is what I'm putting out into the world. With all of my kids, like and my stepkids even, I am very close with them. We have a very close relationship, all of us in different ways. But I take such great pride in that because we always have. And like our home here has become like, my kids were at their other parents' house and then here it was shared. It was always kind of like living out of suitcases, whatever. Eventually that naturally shifted to us having full custody several years ago. So our home, and they will tell you, like our home is it's home. Our home feels like home.
mm,
And
mhm,
that makes me so happy that they have this, safe space they can come to. Now, three of them have moved out. They're going on into the world, but I'm the one they phone. And even my husband will say,
mm.
he's like, they don't even call me, they just call you. Like, so I've created these really powerful relationships with them. Like when I always say, like when my 20-year-old son phones me just to ask how my day was and just to report on his week or whatever, like I will never not answer that call and he is a chatty boy and he will talk to me for
Mm.
like an hour. And so I just feel like, I don't know, I've created this space for them and they were a little bit shocked to hear my story because they haven't seen that part of me. They know my family situation a little bit. They know
Okay.
about my dad, obviously, but I
Yeah.
didn't tell them even that till they were a little bit older to be able to understand that.
Right.
You know, my oldest son, I see sometimes some mental health struggles with him, so I just really try and check in. He's not
Mm.
as open as my other kids, so I try to check in on him where everyone else is very good at just reaching out if they need anything.
Yeah.
My daughter, she's 19, so she'd be like my middle daughter. She has very serious health issues that she was
Does
diagnosed with
she?
about 2.5 years ago. She really, now that she's living on her own, this is something she'll have to deal with her entire life. And so she's
Okay.
really like her and I have almost created like a different bond around that where, she wants me part of all of it, which I'm so grateful for because I can't imagine not being part of it. But every appointment, every surgery, every follow up, everything, like her and I do it 100% together.
Mm.
And she confides in me when she's like, it's heavy, it's hard for her. So,
She's the same age that you were.
yeah, exactly.
It's
Yeah.
incredible because what I'm hearing is you've created a lifeline that you would have needed.
I even wrote about that.
Did you?
I want to be for them what I needed for myself. And that is just like, and I feel like I'm doing it. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm a
Sounds
perfect
like it.
mom, whatever, but I feel like I'm doing it. And I feel like I've created this relationship with them that I'm so grateful for. And like, I would never want it any other way.
Yeah.
So, and my stepson, like, he's so sweet. Boys I find are a little less open about things, right? But
Sure.
he will reach out and he'll be like, Jody, I just want to say I'm proud of you. He'll tell me he's proud of me. I'm like, buddy, I'm proud of you. He's in his third year of university, but he's watching what I'm doing and he's like, I'm so proud of you. I'm like, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you. But it's
You're
just
gonna
kind of
change.
cool.
You're gonna change more lives when this book comes out. I believe it
I hope
because this
so.
story is
Yeah.
so necessary. And
Well,
yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, in writing this book has opened
Yeah.
up, like, or this chapter has opened up an entirely different world of writing for me. So
Right.
I started about a year and a half ago writing a book. I was like, I'm gonna write a chronological book of my life. I don't know why I would wanted to do that, but I'm like, it's gonna be a chronological book of my life. More for me trying to like recount things and remember things. There's a lot of things I can't remember.
Yeah.
So kind of started, kind of dabbled, didn't really do anything serious with it. Once I was done this chapter, and then I was kind of sitting in limbo for a little bit because I'm like, well, I'm done. I'm still hopping on all these meetings. I'm still very engaged, but I was kind of done. So I
Yeah.
really dove into that. And now I
Mm.
am like 90% done. My
Wow.
full manuscript. It is like,
Yeah.
oh my God, like 25 chapters long. It is not what I initially intended it to be. It has kind of taken a different route a little bit. I'm like just trusting it's not chronological, it's not perfect, but it is like the story of my
Yeah.
life and my life as a little kid into a teenager, into parenthood, into all of it. And I'm so proud of it and I'm so excited to put it out
Oh
into the
my
world. Like
God.
I'm aiming for May 1st with that one. So we'll see. But it's like this, thank
Congratulations.
you. It's like this I'm not even gonna call it little, it's not little, but this initial writing opportunity has like opened up the floodgates. I'm like,
Right.
I have so much to share. I have so much I need to put out into the world. And yeah, I've just been
Okay, well,
writing.
that's no small feat. That is
No.
no small feat. A lot of people wish they could write a book.
Mm-hmm.
It's another thing to like, as they say, put the rubber to the road and
Totally.
actually do the thing.
Yeah.
So that's huge.
And this
Like,
one's been hard. This one's been like
is it? Yeah.
emotional. But I just got my cover design back and it is so perfect.
Okay,
And
so
it's
you're
in like
like
edit.
really
I'm doing it. It's going to be like, I'm waiting for my ISBN number and I'm waiting for final edits and it's
damn.
happening and it just feels crazy and surreal. And I
Oh
think there's
my
some people
God.
a little bit scared of what they might read in this book. So
Mm.
having a couple conversations. I mean, I'm not writing it in a way of like to blame or to assign blame or shame or anything. There's no names mentioned. This is just my story, my
Yep.
recounting of the life that I lived and the things that
Wow.
I experienced. And yeah, I
Do
think
you have a name for this book?
I
Is it
do.
named?
It is. It is called Piece
Okay.
by Piece. And yeah, I always knew what the title was going to be. I don't know why.
Okay.
I always knew what the title
Okay.
was going to be and I always knew what picture I was going to use. It's a picture of little girl Jody
Okay.
on the
Oh my
front
gosh.
cover. And like, that was clear to me before the contents were clear to me. I don't know if that even makes sense, but
Yeah, of course.
yeah,
You had a vision.
I did. Yeah. And
Yeah.
writing in this collaborative book is what launched that experience
Just like
full
put it.
force. Like, oh my gosh, like it was
Yeah.
like, I'm doing this. My husband's like, are you writing again this weekend? I'm like, yep. Every minute I get.
Oh my gosh, I love this so much for you and just like, I mean, for the courage that that takes and the
It's been
reflection.
incredible.
That's not a small thing.
No. And my
I know I
therapist is
said that
very,
already, but it's not small.
it
This is
doesn't
not
feel small.
small.
It feels huge. And
Yeah,
I've actually leaned on my therapist a lot for help piecing things together or like recounting things. Like, I mean, if you talk to anybody that has experienced any bit of childhood trauma, there are holes, there are things you do not remember and
right.
cannot put together. And she has been incredible in helping me put things together and kind of how to put this out into the world without being tacky or blamey, but like telling a story.
Yeah.
So that's, and also a big part of this story too is like what came on the other side of that and breaking these generational patterns and generational cycles and what that looks
Mhm.
like and the hard work that that takes and will forever take, I think. Like, I don't think the work is ever
Sure.
done. I think you're always
Yeah,
doing the
it's
work,
not.
but
It's never done. I was just talking to my husband about that just probably I
mhm.
think it was last night or the night before over dinner. Is like there's always another grade, if you will. Cause
Yeah.
like, I like to talk in like earth school terms or whatever you want to call it. But like,
Mhm.
there's no like grade 12 graduation in this school that we're in.
There's not.
And if we don't get like the lesson the first time around, we're going to see it again in some other way, shape, or form. But I feel like that is the kind of that there's the joy in that is if
Mhm.
we're able to kind of remove ourselves from the victimhood of it and being able to say again, and it sounds so cliche, but this is happening for me.
Yeah.
It's like then it becomes a practice. It becomes something else.
Mhm.
It's not something that is and that's why like I don't sit here or in any conversation because I obviously have my own mental health story and whatnot, but like it's not to say I've won and I'm done. It's to say I've come out on another side of this and I have a whole new perspective on how I handle life. And like
Mhm.
it doesn't mean I'm not thrown new challenges. That's the whole point, right? This isn't
Absolutely.
perfect. Yeah.
Mm-mm. It is ongoing. Like,
Ongoing.
just when you think you're like, "Hey, I'm in a good place," something comes and you're just like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa." Like, "Why do I feel like this right now?"
Yes, I know. It's almost like I do have to catch myself sometimes. I'm like, don't get like too cocky there because you know there's another lesson coming around the corner. I'm
Always.
trying not to like be in this like place of like bracing myself. I definitely have been at some points because I'm like, oh God, what's next?
Like,
But
"Universe, what is coming next? What are you throwing
yeah,
at me next?" Yep.
like I feel a little too
Yeah,
comfortable right now.
I know, right?
Something's coming.
Something's coming, and then sometimes when it comes and then something else comes, you're like, "Okay, what are you trying to teach me here? What am I
Yeah.
supposed to take from this? Because this is too hard and it doesn't make sense."
Yes, yes. But there is that beautiful gift of retrospect and hindsight in 2020 and
It's
that what
huge.
comes with reflection. And it sounds to me like with the writing of your chapter for reclaiming mental health, you actually took a greater pause than maybe you had prior to actually like do the whole look back and say,
In a way I
there's
never have.
so much here that I didn't connect prior. Yeah.
Yeah, because part of my chapter in reclaiming mental health that was like just threw something open in me was just being honest about my part in things. Because it was like, "Oh,
Mm,
this happened to me, and this happened to me, and whatever," but it was never like, "Okay, but I did this, and
mm,
I didn't act great in a lot of scenarios, and I never took responsibility for those things." It was like
mm,
life just happened to me, and I was just like the victim of this terrible circumstance or series of terrible circumstances. But as soon as I was like, okay, wait, not blaming myself, but just taking responsibility for some of the things, especially as I got older, not so much like childhood stuff, that's a little bit different. But as I got
yeah.
older, just taking responsibility, that was huge for me because it was like, hey, like you can get through this once you can admit all the things that it was instead of just like I would like have this little piece of what happened or what I experienced, but
Mhm.
everything else was just on the outside of that. And it was like until I could look at everything, I'm still doing this, don't get me wrong, but like
Yeah.
until I realized that you have to look at the whole picture and kind of recount all of it, then you can move through it, like actually honestly move through it. I wasn't being honest with myself about a lot of
Mm.
things. And then it just never
Yes.
felt fully healing to me because it was like, you're lying to yourself, but it didn't really realize it. And
That's like one of the biggest I feel this I know exactly what you're saying because there's so much truth to that in like we got to get honest with ourselves.
totally, that's the only way we're going to get through this.
'Cause you gotta be able you gotta be able to own it.
Yeah,
It's not like yeah, you gotta be able to own it, and I mean, I've definitely said I use the word karmic, and karmic doesn't it just insinuates this energy that gathers depending on the actions that you take. It's not always negative either, right? But there were if you wanna say karmic elements to what developed in my own life, and
yeah,
I had to get really freaking honest with myself because maybe I wasn't going out of my way to be a shitty person in my 20s or to hurt people.
sure. Yeah.
Hurt people, you
Hmm.
know? But it was the honesty of like, fuck, I really did some shitty stuff. And I
Yes.
didn't talk too super openly about those aspects of
No.
like what happened before I had my own mental health breakdown. But I know that honesty has started with me just doing that with that exercise with myself. And that has probably been one of the largest aspects of the healing process is just being able to look back and own that shit. And not out of blame, but out of
That's right.
acknowledgement,
That's right. That's
right?
exactly it. I don't want it to sound like, yeah, we're blaming ourselves, but we're just taking
No,
ownership of our part in it, I think. And I think that that's
100%.
so important. Just like you said, like when we can look back and be like, oh, I was kind of shitty too. I don't know. Or like, even if it's just from a place of like, I did some things I was not proud of, but I don't
Yeah.
ever recount those things because they make me feel yucky and terrible about myself. But if you can just be
Mhm.
like, okay, like you just said, hurt people hurt people. So why did I do those things? And why did I act in the way I acted? And then how can I now like take that experience and shift it?
Yeah. Course correct, however you want to say that.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, with our chapters, we got 2,500 words. We got to be like,
It wasn't
there's a
enough.
brevity that's required. It's challenging,
I
but like
know.
the way I kind of condense it is like there was a dissonance. There was a dissonance between who my soul knows that
Mm,
I am supposed to be and
yeah.
how I was acting. Whether
Yes.
that's you want to say that's getting right with God, I say it was getting right with like the vibration that I'm supposed to be in,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That dissonance needs to greatly decrease so that
Absolutely.
then we're actually showing up as like the people we know we can be without
Yeah.
all that extra noise, right?
And maybe that experience, now that you say, like, it was only 2,500 words. So we had to make this story
Yeah.
compressed and, I mean, as powerful as we could, because I mean, we
Hmm.
obviously want people to read this book because it's going to be so powerful, but like we had
Yeah.
to put, I'm a wordy person. I had to put this whole mass of two stories for me in 2,500 words.
Yeah,
That was the most challenging part.
it is.
But I can't actually wait to read your story too, because I know I've been following along with you
Yeah.
and hearing tidbits and, you know, reading your other
Yeah.
story in, which one did Sovereign
I
2?
was in summer too.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
right. That's right. Yes, I couldn't remember
Yeah.
which one. I have all of them on my bookshelf. So I'm like, which one did I read that in?
Amazing.
Yeah, so I can't
Yeah.
wait to read more also. Like I feel like some of the connections with these women inside this group has been the best part of this. And just this
Hmm.
like common thread woven through all of us who are at different stages in our lives, different
Yeah.
geography, even we're in different places, we're different careers, everything. But we're like, there's this common thread through all of us that so many
Hmm.
other women are going to be like, yes. I hope there's a volume 2 of this actually, because I just feel like there's so many more people. Once they
You
read
make a good point.
ours, yeah, once they read ours, they're like, I have a story to share. So I hope this like opens up more opportunity for more people because I feel like it could have that effect. I feel like people will be like, I can share now because these women shared.
Yes.
So I don't know.
Yes. And that's the
Hopefully.
whole point is
Yeah.
we have to get it out of ourselves. I think there's this necessity for us to feel seen and witnessed. And I don't want to make this about my chapter, but there is this
No, do.
aspect that I bring into it where there's being in the psychiatric ward and with the
Mhm.
people and the stories that I know are there, and a lot of them just are never witnessed the way
Yeah,
that they deserve to be witnessed. And it's not to say you're so freaking great and you overcame that or whatever it is. It's just to be seen, to
absolutely.
see each other, that we're more than just like this facade that we walk around with every day, and that we
Mhm.
hold these incredible stories
Yes.
that they need to be witnessed. That's
And
why this process
people,
is so powerful,
it is
right?
powerful, and people love to be seen and love to be heard.
They
And
do.
I mean, that takes me back to the flower shop. Like people want to be
Yes,
heard, they want to be seen. And I find in those, when they feel those things, then they open up and they can like peel a layer
that's
back
right.
themselves. And it might take a little bit of time, but if like they get that opportunity just by feeling those feelings, to have the opportunity to peel a layer or two back and actually let somebody in to see those things, then
Yeah.
that's where their healing will begin. And it's just this whole like compounding effect that
Yeah.
I think we can be a huge part of. I don't know.
You know what's coming up for me is the word validation. And I don't say validation because we don't, the need is, should not be, and generally speaking, should not be for like this external validation. Obviously,
Hmm.
we all seek in some capacity, in some time in our lives, we're going to be looking for external validation.
For sure. It's
But
natural.
in 100%, but in our ability to, or in the opportunity to be witnessed and share our stories, we're able to validate ourselves
Yeah.
too. I mean, I know that for sure writing in Sovereign 2, again, writing in this, it was this like, because we don't always pause.
Yeah.
We don't always take a second to say, holy shit, that got really real.
Totally.
And validate ourselves in that process too.
Not at all. And I think this process has given us an opportunity to validate ourselves
Yeah,
and to validate each other because, like you said, external validation is a natural, people
it
crave it.
is.
People crave it.
It's part of life.
And we crave it ourselves. And so when we can give it to ourselves and give it to
That's right.
people around us, I think it's hugely powerful.
Yeah. And there's going to be a lot of people coming away from these stories with a lot more hope and a lot more perspective that may just shift something for them, which is like, again, a huge reason why I think we need to be doing this. And I'm honestly hoping we get to see your mom in an upcoming
I
publication
know. I'm like, Mom, she
that
needs to. So I
take the leap.
actually, yeah, like I put in an application actually for the Women Who Rise from Ashes Volume 2,
Yes.
and it was just accepted. So I'm going to write in that book.
Holy
But I said to my
goodness.
mom, I'm like, you could write in that book. Like, if there's a woman who rose from ashes, it's my
Yes.
mom. But she's like, no, she's not ready yet. And you can't force it
Okay.
if you're not ready. But
You
I'm
can't
like,
force it.
just come alongside me. Just walk with me a little bit on this path.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're definitely laying the groundwork. You're like on a writing rampage.
I know, it's crazy. Like, this is going to be 3 publications then in 2026, which
Yeah.
feels wild. But
I will say, going from Sovereign 2 and being able to get well, you also have like you have a solo pub coming out, but going from Sovereign 2 and getting that, like getting it out of your system, like that chronological purge, just to
yes.
like lay it out. There's something really fun about going into another publication and kind of like flossing other things out that you weren't able to in like I wasn't able to do, at least in the first.
For sure. Like, if I had to guess, you probably had an idea of what you wanted that chapter to look like,
Mhm.
or like maybe an idea, but like, yeah, it feels interesting because it's like now in this next co-authorship, I'm like, I have a pretty good idea, but I'm not as clear though
Yeah.
as exactly what I want it to look like as I was with Reclaiming Mental Health. I
Yeah.
know what I want the story to feel like and what parts of the story I want it to be, but I'm like, okay, this actually has to be really good now because I've already done this once. Like, I gotta do
Yeah.
this good.
Bars high.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I don't know what
And
this.
and I will say, you are chapter 1. I saw it in Reclaiming Mental Health. That's like,
Yeah.
you're like the first chapter people see. I had that same experience in Sovereign
You
too. It
did.
does kind
Yes.
of like, it does
I
create
know.
a little bit of self-expectation of
It
like,
does, because even like when
that was
Sarah.
unexpected. You're right. You weren't expecting that, right?
No, like Sarah had reached out and she's like, I just wanted to let you know I put yours as chapter 1. I'm like, oh, okay. Yep. Okay. Sure. So I'm just like, I hope this is as good as I feel like it is. I don't know.
I'm sure
So
it is.
now I'm like, in a second book, I'm like, okay, I gotta do this good. I gotta tell this story powerful. And I mean,
You
I
will.
have a story to tell for that also, but it's interesting because now you've written in a couple. My friend who wrote in Sovereign 2 with you, she just wrote in Motherhood Expanded. So she's written
I
into.
know who you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah. So
She's a
it's
wonderful
interesting,
lady.
like everyone's writing kind of several times. It's like it starts this thing in you and you just keep
That's
going. And in our little
Yeah.
teeny town out here, Barhead is where
Yeah.
I live. There's her, I'm going to say her name, Lindsay.
Lindsay, shout out. She's
Lindsay,
coming
yeah.
on.
Oh, is she
Yeah.
good?
She's coming on.
Good, I love it. So there's her, there's myself, and then there's another girl from Barhead. Her name's Allie, and she wrote in Motherhood Expanded also. So there's 3 of us in this teeny town of 4,500 people that have wrote in these co-authorship books. So we're like, hey, we somehow need to do like a joined event out here once all our books are out and have something out here because it's a small community and all 3 of us are pretty connected inside this community. So I'm like, this is kind of cool. So it's kind of cool in this little teeny place.
You guys are repping.
Well, I know. I'm like, okay, what else can we do? I don't know, but
Maybe
it feels like
you
the
have it at
beginning.
the flower shop?
Well, thing
You
is,
have
my flower shop's not in Barhead. I live in
right, you're in
Barhead, but my
Morinville.
flower shop's in Morinville. So I drive to Morinville every day. So we could do it there, but I want to do something with our community here.
Yeah.
It's kind of a weird thing. Like, I'm super connected in both communities. So it's like this separate, I don't know, it's kind of weird, but I'm hoping maybe a second location of flower shop will come to Barhead. We'll see. That's like a pipe dream right now. I'm going to put it out there though, and maybe I can.
I have a feeling when you have an idea, it's likely going to come into fruition.
You can ask my husband.
Like, you were in grade 9 and you knew you were going to work in your flower shop. That was going to be your jam.
That was going to be my jam.
Made it.
Yep. I know. So, several years and a few job changes and life happened in between, but,
Here you are.
I'm back now.
Fueling your passion. I love it. Well, I've learned, only done a couple of these interview or conversations. I'd rather call it a conversation. I've
Mhm.
only done a couple and I've learned very quickly it's very hard to contain these 60 minutes, and
I
I'm just seeing we're at like an hour, and I'm
I
like,
know. We're doing pretty good,
I have
yeah.
a feeling once your solo publication comes out,
Mhm.
we should absolutely connect again. I want to
Yeah.
hear more about that experience, like
Yeah.
from the publishing perspective
Sure.
and launching that and the
Yep.
process and then everything that comes after. But just like
Absolutely.
celebrating you, Jody, I'm
Thank you.
really, really excited for you, and I'm so glad that you were able to come on and chat with me today. So thank
Me
you, and
too.
I'm excited to be co-authoring with
I
you.
know, me too. I can't wait, and we'll have to, yeah, do something together in person since we're not that
Launching
far. Yay!
March
Soon,
20th.
pretty soon. I know. I can't wait to read yours. I'm very grateful for you having me on your podcast. Also, this has been
Thank
lots
you.
of fun. So, thank you.
Thank you. Awesome.